All right, fugged faces, right? Put an extra double G in there, fugged. I don't know, it sounds funny. I also thought this intro would be a lot more interesting, like fugged faces. Anyways, please, welcome back to. I saying please to myself, as in shut the fuck up. But yes, good intro. Welcome back to practicing portraits on artwod roadmap. Artwod is the best draftsmanship, learning how to draw from imagination platform in the world. How fucking good? This fucking good, because I've been drawing for 3 years and 5 months now almost, and it's purely due to them that I can output this level of skill. So not my style, not whatever fucking decisions I made, but if this level of skill in form, line, form, perspective, and beyond interests you, click the link in description. I'm not affiliated, I'm a shill. Now that I've sold you on effectively what is the path to success, please join me, draw along, right? Let's put in sheer effort, because that's all we can put in is effort. Directionally correct effort, because there are correct things to focus on, like line form and perspective as the foundation, you know? Of course, there's way more beyond that, but that's the foundation, right? Anyways, I have a few things I want to talk about. Yeah, please fucking draw along. Body doubling, right? Use me as a call to action for doing anything. Do laundry, whatever the fuck. Apparently, people watch me while they eat. For what reason, I do not know. But please draw along. I have a few things I want to talk about because I always want to talk about something, right? But what am I doing right now? Right? Oh, by the way, I did not want to draw today. Again, I fucking jerked off in my mind. I'm gonna draw. Oh my god! But the minute, literally 10 minutes before I sat down here, I was like, I don't want to fucking do this shit, man. I don't want to do this shit. It's too hard. It's too difficult. I have to fucking think about 23 goddamn calculations in my mind and constantly be visualizing. That's too much fucking work. Well, you piece of shit, which is me, which is you, and I say that with love. We're all pieces of shits, right? Let's put in effort, right? Let's put in a nice slathering of poo-poo effort, right? It doesn't have to make sense. Please get off your ass, get your pen, get your paper, draw along. Please draw along with me, right? Yeah, I don't know. How many other ways can I say this call to action? Watch me become great. I aim to prove anybody can draw, blah, blah, blah. But anyways, what am I doing? Right, horrible fucking intro, Jesus Christ. But I keep making it worse. The intros keep getting more and more shit, right? All the more reason to stick around and like, subscribe, give me your attention, right? You fucker, right? I know you want to, so don't worry. I'm not like a drug in the sense that I don't consume you slowly. I actually eradicate your innards instantly, right? Via sheer effort, encouragement, and what other buzzwords I can think of. I can't think right now. I can actually barely even speak, TBH. And you might be wondering, this guy's just talking bare shit. I don't see any drawing happening. Well, it's already happening in my mind, which is what I was trying to explain. What are we doing? I'm looking at a portrait, putting a box over that portrait, putting a sphere inside that box. Box? What the fuck? Box. Right? If you want to understand what I'm trying to think about, I'm essentially, the portrait looks roughly like this, right? This is the box, the perspective of the portrait. So I'm trying to visualize this box, and then I'm trying to visualize a perfect sphere, and you can see my lines are really shaky today, right? So again, it's all skills and fucking continuum, right? Up and down, trying to see a sphere inside that box. I'm trying to also calculate the center line of each plane, by the way. This is what I mean. Like, all these lines I'm trying to calculate, like, visualize in my mind. Jesus Christ, that was a horrible line too. All of that, right? Trying to see all of that, and then I'm trying to see the ellipse in each one as well. Right, the ellipse in each specific plane. Yeah, you can see like this angle, anything to do with like this. Look how shaky that is, just naturally when I'm not trying to focus or when I'm not focusing, right? And I'm trying to project that ellipse onto the center line of the plane itself. Like again, same with this ellipse, project. And that's what I'm trying to see. I'm trying to see 23 fucking calculations. It's complete fuckery. If that sounds extremely difficult, it is extremely difficult because drawing is thinking. And right now I'm already thinking, right? But either way, I have a few things I want to talk about today. The main topic being, I was just thinking about this, right? What kind of fandom, quote unquote fandom, do I want to build, right? Because regardless of what my intent is, we can say that there will always be positive people, neutral people, and then negative people, right? And we'll call them haters. We'll call them hashtag ViggyFam haters. That doesn't really roll off the tongue, right? Viggy faders? No, that sounds like shit too. And by the way, I'm already like projecting all of this. I can do it to the best of my ability. And I can barely see anything of the reference that I'm trying to do, right? That I'm trying to apply it to. But yeah, I want to talk about authenticity today because I am doing all of this with the assumption and the belief that we are creating a community, right? A community that is very well aware, by the way, that they are capable. Like, that's the community I want to create, right? A community that doesn't make excuses, that keeps trying, and more than anything believes, right? More than anything believes. And by the way, while I'm talking, I'm thinking, which is a very difficult skill. I want to keep reiterating this, right? But this is something that's just been on my mind. I was thinking about it while I was making my food. I'm like, yes, this is deep. I can talk about this. Right? Introspection. Hashtag Viggy looks inwards and realizes he is perfect. Right? But that is the main thing that I wanted to talk about today. And you might be wondering, where is this stemmed from? Well, it stemmed from the fact that a couple of videos ago, I was bitching about that same comment that lives rent-free in my head, which was the person basically saying, calling me a kid, saying this kid, blah, blah, blah. And I was clearly looking back, I was a bit upset, right? And I think being upset is fine, but is that the type of person I want to be? First of all, no. What the fuck? First of all, no. I do not want to be someone who, what's it called? Jesus, you see how bad my lines are right now? My fingers are shaky as fuck. And while I'm doing this, I'm really trying to calculate everything. And this box is actually completely incorrect. It's the sphere inside of this is not good. It's not quote unquote perfect. It's not a perfect sphere, right? And that's because I think I diverged that a little bit as well. It's way too wide. It's actually way too wide when we look at it. It's way too fucking wide, right? It actually should have been, this should have stopped right around there. Yeah, that would have been better. And I was intending on stopping it here, but then I continued it. So already we can just cut this off, right? And I believe that's accurate when I look at this. Yeah, I believe that's accurate. But already we can cut this box off. And yes, I will be going constantly back and forth in what I'm talking about. And again, like every line I draw, I'm trying to reference it against this fuckery that I've created in my mind, or I'm attempting to create in my mind, right? So either way, first of all, I have nothing against that commenter, right? But I am only human, and I'm opening up right now. It's very deep. But no, seriously, I wanted to talk about this, right? Because my community will relatively be a reflection of me, right? Let's just say I'm gonna have a community. Let's just set some assumptions for myself straight, right? I'm gonna have a community. I don't even think this box is accurate at all. Like as you can see, I can't see anything today, right? But okay, yeah, let's just say I'm gonna have a community, right? And also, yeah, I think this is like completely off. I genuinely think this box is completely off. This is not even a good box in general, for sure. So that's a beautiful mistake because I couldn't see this properly at all, right? I need to think about like what the actual box is. And this is probably way more accurate in terms of depth because this one doesn't even have any depth at all, right? Trying to think. That means that maybe the front plane should have been a lot higher, right? There's a lot of mistakes here, and that's something I have to live with. But yeah, okay, let's say I'm creating a community, right? Do I want to create a community that is negative and that believes they can't do anything? No, of course not, because that's not what I quote unquote preach to myself, right? So, and again, I'm calculating right here. So what kind of community do I actually want to create? And again, like because I'm talking while thinking, while drawing, you're gonna hear me go back and forth a bunch, which is why I fucking encourage you to draw along, Jesus Christ, because we're not gonna get to the point of anything. That's a way down the line, right? But either way, because that comment affected me, and because I had a moment of essentially just feeling bad about the fact that I live my life in the way they did not prefer, right? And they had critiques to offer, be like, you should do it like this, you should do it like that. First, I just need to be okay with that, right? There will always be people that critique me, 100%. If any public-facing entity, to any relative degree, will always be critiqued. That is just an inevitability, and I had to accept that, right? Second, yeah, everybody's like, I do, the thing is, like, the funny thing is, that guy was actually, I'm assuming it's a guy, because it's like 98% are like men, according to YouTube stats, right? But that guy was actually like, I've watched a lot of your content and here's the critique I have to offer. Even if I don't agree with the critique really that much at all, right? That goes to show that this is somebody who clearly has an opinion, and it's not based on ignorance, it's actually based on whatever information they got from my channel, and that's fine too. Like, again, that doesn't mean I have to agree with it, but I do want to say that because the reply I had in general to that comment was like encouraging it. So I want to say that yes, despite my own fucking insecurities and my own being like, oh, that guy said I should have done it like this and he kept calling me a kid, it's fine. And I have to be okay with that. And I do have to accept it. And it's better to be disliked or critiqued for who you are than to pretend like you're someone else, right? And that's the biggest thing. Like, I'm never gonna pretend. The fact that I'm even talking to myself, but i.e. the audience about this, is hopefully proof to myself that I'm not gonna shy away from, trying to figure out how I think about things, right? And by the way, while I'm fucking talking, I'm drawing, right? And this is actually probably the most difficult session I've had in a while because I'm literally trying to fucking calculate and do all this bullshit and to make sure it all makes sense while goddamn talking, right? And you know what doesn't help is like I drew the completely wrong box. I drew the completely wrong box. And I still need to figure that out. Like I genuinely drew an incredibly wrong box, right? I think this should have actually been something like this, if anything, right? Now see if I did, there you go. Now that is much more contained, a perfect sphere. Yeah, that's actually a lot better. That is a lot better in perspective, I'd like to think. Yeah, I think that's better. But either way, right? That's just like one aside. It's like, yes, I was, I guess, feeling a bit insulted or I just wanted to complain. I don't know why, but that's the thing. Like, I don't want to build that type of channel. I always talk about focusing on the effort, focusing on the errors, right? So the most important thing for me is to encourage an environment where people's worth is based on their ability to never give up, right? And this actually will lead into another point I want to talk about, right? But I want to build an environment, a community where the success is the attempt and the constant attempt. Like the success is the fact that we as a community, or me as a Viggy, right, have just been constantly trying, right? Have just been constantly trying. So, and I think what I'm talking about is honestly all over the place. Like I can't really think about I'm clearly not, because I'm fucking trying to calculate all this shit right now, like the central line. Again, while I'm doing this, I keep losing the sphere, and I keep losing the box, and I keep losing this especially, like the center line, the curve around this ellipse, right? I keep losing that, you know, or it's more like this actually. Yeah, but I keep losing that. I also keep losing this. And that's the thing, I think this is supposed to have more depth, which is confusing me, right? Actually, no, this is, okay, so I got it right. I did get it right. Like the revised version, it's supposed to be more like this, right? That is the contour of the center horizontal sphere, right? Because we don't really see, it has a very narrow degree, right? The tilt is more extreme. But anyways, yeah, like I'm gonna be all over the place, so please do draw along, Jesus fucking Christ. But the point I'm trying to make is, the more my shit talk, my bullshit, my absolute curiosity aside, curiosity and how I can be more of a, I don't know, growth-minded or oriented. I had no joke there. I was just trying to relate the two words together. It's fucking garbage. But anyways, I'm gonna rest my brain. Let's give myself and you whiplash, right? I encourage you to do that as well. Jesus Christ. But this is already today, like I'm telling you, I can barely think. Like I need to lean into that even more. But I am getting better because every time I look at this now, I'm constantly training my brain. What am I doing? Every time I look at this, I'm constantly trying to calculate something, right? When I look at that plane, I'm immediately trying to see this fuckery, the center line, all the calculations and the ellipse. When I see, like when I zoom out and I look at the overall box, I'm trying to see the center line and the sphere and everything, right? And because I made this already smaller, my brain is now, this is an obstruction, right? This is an obstruction that is getting in the way of my brain seeing the sphere properly, like this perfect circle, right? But either way, let me rest my brain. I really haven't put in as much effort as I should. So again, as I continue to talk, which is run one parallel line of thought with the fucking, intense 3 layers of spatial reasoning and 23 calculations, which is extremely taxing on my working memory, right? That is a skill, is what I'm trying to say. Like, as I continue to do this, you need to understand that this is very cognitively demanding, which is what art is. It's cognitively demanding, okay? But yeah, anyways, let me rest my brain. Jesus Christ. But yeah, hopefully this also helps you know that, like, oh, when he actually isn't just talking about what he's doing, bless me, and he also, and he's has to, and now he's just deciding to talk about something completely unrelated to what he's doing. His brain still has to focus on what he's doing. Therefore, it's a skill. Again, like it takes an extreme amount of concentration, effort, and just taxes my working memory. Now there's the difficult part because I have to take this box, which was initially incorrect, but I have to attribute the right box to it, and then I have to see this, right? So obviously I'm gonna be ghosting it a little bit to see it better, right? But this is the even more difficult part because now I have to design. What is design? Ideation. How am I going to ideate? I don't know. I'm going to be like, what if I do this? What if I do that? What if I do this angle and this angle and this is a shape? It's a lot of what ifs, but it's very difficult. What the fuck happened to my voice? It's very difficult. There you go. That's a lot better. It's very difficult, right? But no, I want to build a positive community right? My bullshit, like me being a scumbag and a complete fucking piece of shit aside, right? Like in the way I speak and the manner I conduct myself, I obviously want to build a community that even if and even when, let's be honest, I'm not very likable, but even when people comment in the comments, right? And this is a future projection. This isn't a now, because this channel doesn't have anything now. Very few people comment, and I always appreciate that they do, and they're all positive because it's a small community, right? The bigger you get, the more quote unquote haters or people who criticize you'll have. So I'm just preemptively accounting for that in this episode, quote unquote episode I just practiced, while also addressing, I guess, my own flaws and how I could be better, man. So first thing I need to obviously, again, reiterate to myself is have people dislike you for you and be okay with the fact that they dislike you and they'll have opinions and still do what you're gonna do anyways. Okay, done. There you go. I've internalized that and I'm making it very clear externally to the audience or whatever in the future or whatever that yes, I've internalized it. I'm gonna keep trying to reinforce this to myself. It's okay to be disliked. I'd rather be disliked for me. I'd rather be critiqued for me. That's completely fine, right? And I think I would project that message to the audience as well, right? Next thing, right? What kind of hashtag Vigifamming are we going to have this in the community, right? It's a very serious word, but what are we going to do? How is this community going to actually work? Well, I want this to be the sort of community, and what I want and what's actually going to happen is going to be a reflection of my behavior and the people who emulate it, of course, right? And there will be divergences, and that's fine too. While I'm talking, I'm thinking, by the way, right? But so that means I want a community that when somebody is being very negative or being very critical, I want people to respond with, hey man, you can do it, or hey woman, right? I don't think women watch this channel, right? It's all goonery all around. But if you do, like, hey you, fucker, right? We believe in you, okay? Whatever negativity, whatever disbelief you may have, we would like you to simply remove that from your life. And we would like to say that we believe in you. Because genuinely, like even when people critique me, I want to be the type of person, right? I don't know if I am, but I want to be the type of person that can be like, I accept your criticism and I believe in you, right? And you're capable, right? And if they respond in any sort of manner, positive or negative, I still want to be like, cool, I accept it. Keep going. You got this, right? I think that's the type of community I want to build. Because think about it. Art is already so difficult. People are going to have a lot of own personal opinions. People are going to have all their own hangups. There's going to be a lot to think about, right? There's going to be a lot of emotional baggage attached. So that's why, first of all, what do I always promote? To remove emotional baggage, we focus on the process, right? What am I thinking about? What is the process I'm thinking about? I'm literally right now, I'm just trying to calculate this front plane, trying to see the center line, right? Trying to see this ellipse, trying to see like, yeah, the ellipse inside of it, trying to have the sphere inside of that, and then trying to project the center line. And then after trying to visualize all of that, not even counting this, by the way, right? But then after trying to see all of that on this scale, by the way, right? And then after seeing all of that, I'm like, okay, now trying to make a decision regarding design. Do I want something coming out here like that? Do I want it to be on the other side, blah, blah, blah. So again, very cognitively taxing, working memory intensive skill, right? So the type of community I also want to build on top of that, oh, we're all positive, let's fucking suck each other off, like all that shit aside, right? Which is, or inside, but all that included, actually, right? I also want to build a community that more than anything values the art of metacognition, which is learning how to learn, right? This channel is about me and you, hopefully, changing the texture of our mind and understanding that what we're doing is constantly practicing learning how to learn, right? Learning how to learn. That's what we're practicing. Nothing else comes close. And again, this subtlety is extremely difficult for my mind to map right now. All right, that's why you create a mind map. I don't know if that makes sense, but whatever. So yeah, I want to create a community that no matter who is believing or disbelieving, it's just the core message I want to get across is you can do it and focus on the effort, focus on the errors, and derive enjoyment from it, right? Like whatever you want to do, you can do it, you can do it, you can do it, you can do it, right? So, and again, I want it to all be based on science, right? In the sense that this is how our brain learns, like literally the spacing effect. Oh man, I cannot see this. I literally cannot see this right now. But again, like you can see, I'm trying to calculate so much right now and I cannot see. What am I trying to calculate? This entire fuckery, right? What am I missing? Every time I try to do the plane, like the XYZ, like the general wireframe, right? Every time I try to visualize that, I lose this. Every time I try to visualize this, I lose this. Every time I try to visualize that, I lose this. And the thing is, I lose it all the time. Which is why I have to take a step back, and I encourage you to do so as well. Okay, now we try to build it again, right? Because this is a very difficult angle, and I already got it wrong in the wrong perspective. This is way too much of the bottom. This is actually a lot more accurate. I thought I did this wrong, but now that I look at the corrections that I made, it's generally decent. It's not perfect, but it's generally decent, right? And that's why I'm going to be in this phase for a while. But, and again, I can't see the sphere at all, but I have to try, right? And we have to be free. Anyways, I keep making that reference. But anyways, yeah, I want to build a community that no matter what, people encourage each other to keep trying. And it's all based on effort and long-term thinking, which is the other thing I wanted to talk about today, right? Which is, so like, I guess I've tried to make that clear. Is like, the community I want to build is a community that no matter who criticizes, who doesn't criticize, who believes, the general, the precedent being set, the internal intrinsic understanding of this community, I don't know if it's ever going to happen, but I would love it to be, you can do whatever the fuck you want. Put in the effort, enjoy the errors, derive enjoyment from it, take gap effect breaks, make sure to rest after you're done studying, right? Have a growth-oriented mindset, like all that shit, right? And just keep fucking going, which is the other thing, right? The point of the game, because there's something called infinite game theory or infinite game perspective. I got this from Alex Hormozy because I really like, he's basically the mindset I was already on the path on, right? On the path on, what the fuck kind of sentence? I was on the path of, right? Which was, growth mindset, learning how to learn. He basically just doubled it down for me, and he either verbalized things I was already thinking exactly as I was thinking them, or he just improved or just reinforced and refined that mindset. So one of those things was, I was already thinking super long term, like after that intense, like, this is a video for beginner artists. The entire journey I went in that video, right? Playlist, year 1 to 2, fucking check it out. But the entire journey I went through that in terms of improving my mindset towards learning, the thing that he basically said, which has taken it to the next level, is, and on top of like me always like just immediately trying internalizing, thinking in decades, right? Which is, the point of the game is to keep playing. Infinite game theory. What does this mean? Is that in an environment, right, or in a human or in a person who applies infinite game mindset, right, they have won the game. And by the way, like while I'm talking, I'm trying to visualize the sphere, I'm trying to visualize the center lines, and I'm trying to center it as well. I'm trying to figure out like where everything is, right? Like I'm trying to visualize the plane, I'm trying to visualize the box. Like it's extremely fucking difficult. I want to just say that again, because I'm trying to actually have a conversation to myself clearly, but hopefully to maybe even one person while thinking, right? So I want to make it very clear. I'm still drawing. I'm still intensively drawing in my mind. This is the skill I'm building, right? Like this is, quote unquote metacognition, right? Like taxing my working memory. What am I going through right now? I'm going through output regression, which is I'm putting in a fuck ton of effort and I'm actually performing worse than I would usually. Don't forget that I also have boxes behind this that are completely fucking and are an obstruction with the drawings I'm trying to make as well and the spatial reasoning I'm trying to visualize, right? So I want to, again, try to be as clear as possible as often as I can, right? And while I'm trying to visualize this box and the sphere inside the books, the center line, everything, right? I'm also trying to design and make decisions on top of it. But I think the most important decision right now is just to commit. We just need to make something that makes a little bit of sense, right? So there you go. I think I've established my perspective a little bit, but on top of that, I need to, because I lost the perspective again, right? So I lost the perspective again. I completely lost the perspective, but this is my sphere, it seems, right? This is my sphere, and this is already off, as you can see. Like I already fucked up my sphere a little bit, but this is my sphere. And now I have to, again, while keeping the box intact, keeping the sphere intact, I have to project whatever the fuck I'm trying to project outward, right? And we can start that with, okay, so like this is really difficult. I've completely lost the bottom plane, right? And the calculations I'm making have been very, very difficult because right now, like my mind is basically flickering between trying to see this front plane to ensure that I've got the right center line, right? To also seeing the bottom plane to ensure that I got the right perspective, to also trying to calculate the horizontal curve, the contour of the sphere itself, right? And also trying to make sure that the sphere itself is contained within that box, right? This is extremely fucking difficult, like genuinely, I would assume just the explanation of itself should be like, oh damn, this sounds pretty hard, but if you're retarded like I, right, it is very hard, But I think I already made that joke, right? That was one of my thumbnails. Drawing is hard, and so am I. This is pretty funny. I had a mighty chuckle. Right? But either way, I'm trying to hold up. Like I'm really trying to see this right now. I'm really, really, really trying to calculate all of this. And this is another thing I want to say. Like, with the infinite game theories, like this is why the only thing that matters is our effort. Because dude, this is so fucking difficult. Like, this is genuinely so difficult that it kind of like, the only thing that can matter at the end of the day is clearly just your effort, right? Like, think about it. Like, if this is as difficult as I'm saying as that it is, which it is, by the way, then verily, right? Which just means truly, verily. The only thing that can matter is our effort. And now that I've created this, like, I have to again think about the overall sphere, right? Because we need to think about the contour, and that means I have to think about the side plane, because I need to think about this vertical curve that's going to be following the sphere. That means I have to again project that the sphere is a constant, and that means I need to encompass the sphere inside a box. That means that I need to make sure that this plane has an ellipse, right? This one right here has an ellipse that is being perfectly projected outward and expanding to fill the sphere in of itself, right? So a lot of things to think about, and then I have to do something like this, where I actually let's see, is that correct? Probably not. I don't think that's correct at all. But, and then again, I have to do the same thing here, right, with this contour. So like, again, here we have the ellipse. Let's just say this is where I'm trying to visualize the ellipse to be ending, and while I visualize it, I got to make sure I see my box and all the center lines. But then I see this, okay, and now I have to be like, okay, so the ellipse is something like this, right? Because I have to follow this as well, and it's getting narrower, I believe, or is it getting wider? I think it's getting narrower, so something like super subtle like that. And that took a fuck ton of effort, so I'm gonna rest my brain, and I encourage you to do so as well. Gap effect. I will get to the point of whatever I was trying to get to at one point in my life. Maybe not today, maybe not even when, fucking maybe when I die, but like, yes, on episode part 73 or whatever this is now, right? Part 81, this is what I was trying to say, but yeah, rest your brain. Hopefully this goes to show there's a lot to think about, and this is the effort. This is the constant calculations. Even when I look at this right now, my brain, again, output regression. This is when your synapses are fried because they're trying to calculate, but because they can't, your ability falls below the means. So anytime you're trying really hard and your ability, your output, not your input because you're trying so hard, but your output goes below the means, understand and internalize and constantly reinforce to yourself, because this is the objective truth of how you learn, that this is the best place to be in. This is what they mean by push past your discomfort, at least when it comes to spatial reasoning and cognitive effort, right? But especially when it comes to cognitive effort, right? But anyways, I'll be right back. Rest your brain, Jesus Christ. I also do wonder how many of you have actually internalized what I'm saying when it comes to learning how to learn, right? Like, how many people who listen to me right now actually, in every attempts, whether they're doing it with me or like on their own, actually try to rest their brain every few minutes, just trying to utilize the gap effect? How many of you actually just do active recovery and don't think about anything, or like just let your mind wander, don't stimulate yourself at all after your session? I'm actually curious, how many of you actually push yourself to the extreme cognitive end to get to the point where your spatial reasoning slowly but surely gets better? I'm actually genuinely curious, not in like a fucking condescending, like, how many of you do it? Oh, you're all a piece of shit. But more like, how many people have actually internalized what needs to be internalized in order to be good at art, or in order to be a good learner, right? Like, how many of you have actually internalized that what I'm saying is legit, right? Not because I'm saying it, but because it's something that I'm literally repeating what works, and I'm hopefully proving that it works. I'm just curious. I'm actually just genuinely curious, because I'm constantly calculating, even now, like, dude, Jesus, that was like a build-up. It was a fucking volcanic eruption, right? Festering in my gut bacteria, right? My microbiome. But anyways, like, again, I'm still calculating the center line. I want to be very clear, and I'm still trying to make sure it's consistently inside the box. So I think I fucked up the center line, clearly, right? Because, yeah, I fucked up the center line. Did I? Actually, did I? Hold up. Because if this is, no, because this is my center line then. Oh no, I didn't. Okay, yeah, okay. So I actually fucked up my box. I didn't see my box properly. I was putting this edge of the center line here when it should be here, because obviously we're seeing the other part of whatever this is here, right? So we need to, and now I'm gonna do something that's gonna be very, very difficult, but it is very, very necessary, right? Let's see, something like, because this is the bottom plane, right? So this is this, where am I getting this angle from? I'm literally trying to calculate this fuckery, right? And I'm going like, okay, it's like that. What's happening here? It's kind of like this, right? So that's what I'm trying to see. And again, every line I make, I'm trying to reference with this as much as possible. And that is extremely cognitively taxing, like genuinely extremely cognitively taxing, right? And that's a good thing. I want to again clarify that that is a good thing, right? I actually think I fucked this up. Yeah, see, because I could have gone. So this is actually supposed to be a little bit more, but either way, let's just keep trying to make sense. Whether it makes sense or not does not matter. It's just we're trying to make sense. But yeah, what I was trying to say, okay, that's a fuck up too. What I was trying to say, and again, while I do all of this, I have to keep reinforcing and essentially putting against, like pitting it against my internal model of the box. And I want to say right now, this is actually the hardest part, where once, I mean, they're all fucking difficult as shit, but like once you start designing and like once I start putting these lines down, the hardest part is to constantly keep referring it back to my internalized, established mental model. Does that make sense? Like that, like to constantly refer it against the spatial reasoning that I have built, voice crack that I have built, right? But okay, yeah, the other thing I wanted to, before I, like, okay, so now you know, like I'm constantly calculating. Let's just set that as a precedent so I don't have to keep explaining it just for the time being, right? You know I'm constantly calculating, you know I'm constantly trying to see the box and put the sphere and make everything centered and trying to see like every fucking like one of these calculations as possible. At least like not, hopefully you're aware of that now, right? Just for the time being, because obviously I do like to keep reminding me and you, just so you're aware of how much work actually goes into just creating something shit, right? And why I'm doing this now, which is we're creating the foundation now. So years down the line, this is established in my mind. And again, while I'm talking, I'm struggling a lot because that's also hitting my working memory. I think me talking is the parietal lobe, and then the working memory spatial reasoning is the prefrontal cortex, right? So those two are constantly, everything I'm doing right now, literally everything from drawing to thinking to talking to explaining to designing in my mind, every single one of those things, let's just say 50 things, right? Okay, I guess like if that's overestimating, let's just say 20 things, and that's underestimating to be like conservative. 20 things that are all resource intensive are constantly fighting for and I can't think right now because I have to like I can't explain anything right now because I'm thinking about like what I'm referencing this against. That was a mistake as well. All these lines are mistakes. Don't forget line quality. That's also another thing that's constantly fighting for. It's all fighting for resources. They're all resource intensive and they're all fighting for the resource, which is my fucking brain power, right? So how does our brain establish this? Our brain essentially is constantly consolidating and trying to refine these synapses. But again, it is not doing it while we're learning. It is doing it while we're resting while we're learning, right? So that is why, like it's replaying and resting and consolidating during rest, outside of the activity. During the activity, you will be worse. You will experience output regression, which is what's occurring to me right now, right? But the effort is what's mattering, because right now I'm doing to the absolute fucking best of my ability to think about everything I just mentioned. Is it working? No, I can barely think about anything because I'm so focused on explaining what I'm doing too. So that's all skills, right? That's all skills, right? But every time I look anywhere, that's another thing I'm reinforcing to myself, Jesus Christ, that anytime I look anywhere, I must immediately see like at least 5 calculations, right? Like right now I'm trying to force myself to see this right here. Like when I'm drawing there, I'm trying to force myself to see this, the center line. And then when I like think about the bottom plane, immediately I'm forcing myself to see the entire sphere inside of it. And then when I see that, I'm immediately forcing myself to see the box again. When I see this now, I'm forcing myself to see the side calculations. When I see this now, I'm forcing myself to see the ellipse. You see what I mean? You're just constantly fucking calculating. I don't even know what I was talking about anymore, but let me rest my brain and let's see if I can remember. Right? And I encourage you to rest your brain as well, please. Please. Okay, wonderful. So again, 34 minutes for what is evidently not much, but for those of you who are actually practicing and understand the depth to which spatial reasoning taxes your mind, you likely already understand what I'm doing and the merit of what I'm doing and why it's incredibly difficult and valuable. And I think this is actually off center. Now that I think about it, I think pretty sure this is off center. Yeah, this is actually off center. This is completely off center. It should be more around here, right? This entire sequence that I've created, right? But it's okay because we have to live with that, and I still have to see the box accurately, whether it's off center or not, right? So, and again, like I can barely see the sphere. By the way, I'm gonna be very clear. Like I don't really see the sphere that much at all, because I think this is a pretty small sphere that I've created without meaning to. Maybe I can make that a bit longer, and maybe that's a bit better. It does look like ass still, but maybe I can create a bigger sphere. Oh man, this is so difficult. But yeah, the point of the game is to keep playing, right? What do I mean by that? What does anybody mean by that? Is that you win when you continue. Okay, let me make that very clear again. You win when you continue, right? And this, oh god, I actually fucked up this angle too. There you go. Yeah, like you essentially win the game by continuing to play the game. That is your only requirement for success, right? So by choosing, and it's a choice that you're making, by choosing to set the parameters of the game, which is life, which is learning, which is skill acquisition, which is improvement, to be simply to try to continue and to continue playing and to be in the game, you have essentially established yourself as someone who cannot lose, right? You've established essentially an impossibility when it comes to loss, right? Like that, loss does not exist because you have already won. You have won by continuing. And that's what I want everybody to internalize. And I understand that my words, and again, I'm trying to constantly refer everything to the box that I've created and like all the center lines and shit. And I would encourage everyone to internalize this. And yeah, my words won't mean much now. But 10 years from now, when it's like, oh, well, he kind of knew what he was talking about because look how good he is. Maybe there's something in what he was saying, right? And again, by the way, look at all these ass lines. All these mistakes I've been making, right? Because my brain is competing for so many fucking resources right now. It's hilarious, right? It's actually genuinely hilarious, right? So that's another thing is like, and look, I keep losing my train of thought too, because again, brain is competing for resources, right? So, oh wait, so what is that like? Oh, okay, so I need to reason this as well, because if this is my center line, then, oh, okay, so we'll have something like this, right? And I don't even know if I've made the right sphere. It's so hard, but my brain is competing for a fuck ton of resources, and I'm experiencing output regression, which is part of learning, which is very, very, very normal, right? But I implore you, right? I implore you, I'm fucking Viggy begging right now. Hashtag Viggy begging on the Viggy famming or whatever the fuck you want to, whatever you want to call it, right? Because again, what am I also trying to do? I'm trying to design while I see everything, right? But I'm telling you right now, the only way you're gonna win in the long term is on your conditions. And the only condition that you can have that is going to make you win is that you will continue to play the game, because that is the point, right? And again, while I do this, I'm constantly trying to refer back to my box that I've created. And now when I look here, I'm like constantly trying to see the center line, constantly, because I struggle a lot with seeing the other side of this, same and the other side of this, right? So I just need to keep reinforcing to myself that it does exist, that we do see the center line, right? That it does exist, you know, even though this was off center, right? And even though like once I did that, I completely lost the front of the sphere. Like I lost everything, right? I lost, the front of the box of the plane. What the fuck? The front plane of the box, Jesus Christ. And there's already a decent amount of perspective issues that are definitely occurring. But I really, really, really encourage anybody listening to consistently reinforce the mindset, because everything I'm talking about is a mindset, right? Is that the point of the game is to keep playing, because there's literally no other way to win in whatever endeavor bars whatever you choose to pursue, right? Because Jesus Christ, bro, this is fucking, how does this look on the other side? That's another thing. I really, really don't understand how this looks on the other side. How does that look? Like what I've created here. I'm trying to think. Hold on. Shut the fuck up. I'm talking to myself here. Shut the fuck up. Okay. I think I can actually close that off. But let's see. So we got that. I think this is relatively accurate. And then if we bring it down, what does it look like? Oh, it's like right here, right? And then, no wait, it's down here, I think. Because I have to really think about this. Because how does this translate? How does this translate to, oh, okay, that's how it translates. Because, okay, what am I saying? Like, how does this contour that's at the edge of, connected to basically this side of the sphere translate over to here when I've already established that my center line is somewhere around here? Or like the front plane of my box ends here and it ends here. Clearly it ends here, right? So it's like, this is past that, you know? This is my front plane right here. And I can't see the box that well at all, I'll be completely honest, right? But this is my front plane, it ends here. So where does this go? So if that ends here, then it's clearly wrapping around. And then it's right here. And how's it wrapping around the contour? I have to think about that. And I think it's still wrapping obviously around like the contour here. If this is the edge of the sphere, it's wrapping around here. I don't know. See, this is the calculation I'm trying to do while also fucking hold this entire fuckery in my mind and constantly trying to visualize it. So again, I have to take a step back. Okay, let's try again. Right? I talked about a lot of Jesus Christ. I talk way too fast, bro. I constantly try to slow down, but I will continue to try to slow down, right? Because that's also a skill. And that's the only mindset to have, is like, oh, it's also a skill, right? So let's actually do this first, so at least I know. And again, while I draw this, what am I thinking about? I'm trying to reestablish the center line here. Like, I'm trying to. Am I doing it? Probably fucking not. But I'm trying to really, really, really hard establish the center line. Let's see. Maybe I can even do something like this. Wait, what's happening here? There you go. And again, like trying to design on top of this, and again, I've completely lost, because look, I'm doing tiny details now, right? So I have to keep trying to essentially see the calculations that I've already established with this box. And it's incredibly difficult. Right, because each tiny line makes me zoom in, but I have to zoom out. I have to zoom out, I have to zoom out. That's what I have to keep telling myself, right? You have to zoom out, shut the fuck up, you have to zoom out, right? Maybe you don't have to tell yourself to shut up, but you know, like, you have to zoom out. And let's see, what if I just do something like this? Because it's wrapped around it. That much I can say with certainty. Right, and what is this? There you go. There you go. So it's like, so it's just something that's kind of wrapped around. I don't even think that's accurate, the way it's wrapped around it, to be honest. Oh yeah, it should have been on the front plane. Yeah, see, so that was a mistake too. No wonder I can figure it out. This should have been something more like that. There you go. You see? That's much more accurate. So now that I know that, right? So on the other side, same thing is happening, and now I can do something like this. And again, like, it's really hard to make things even, genuinely, but, and to see this as well as I can, because it's like, okay, what's happening here now? So it's coming around on the other side, and then it's coming out, down, and then we have this, right? And again, I'm really trying to hold every perspective in line while I do this. It's fucking killing my brain, to be completely honest. And you can see my lines are also going to shit quite drastically because I can't see anything. I literally, I think my brain's just completely, like, my working memory is essentially probably most definitely at its limit, because how long has it been? 43 minutes, and that makes sense. 43 minutes is roughly the amount of time that you can really hold as many, or just do as many errors as possible without, oh wait, that's wrong. See, I fucked that up. And let's see. So let me close this off now, because I still have to see this sphere. And the sphere is extremely, oh, like, I did fuck up the line for the sphere, right? Makes sense. But let's see. Okay, so we have it coming around like this, and then it is curling around like that. I already made a few mistakes with these lines. Like, that line right there wasn't supposed to be there. A lot of it doesn't make sense, but slowly but surely I'm trying to see it, right? And that's what matters. Like, this design was super difficult to do because I was trying to think about everything, which is exactly what I want. I want it to be super difficult, right? Like, and again, like, now I'm going to try to establish more difficult things by, there you go. You know, again, creating like a wraparound, right? Whether that wraparound Makes sense or not, it doesn't matter. I need to wrap around. And see, like, that line was not only way too thick, that was also a mistake. So, like, you have to understand, everything I do is a mistake. Everything I do. Everything I do is a mistake. Look at this. Right? Because, like, how am I supposed to see this now? I don't know what I'm... I don't know what I'm doing. Yeah, completely lost it. Completely lost it. You can see, look at that. It's just like a thing wearing a hat now. It looks like fucking Toad. But, oh, my brain is genuinely taxed. Genuinely taxed, right? So, I'm gonna rest my brain again, and then I'm gonna try to lean in again extremely to this perspective. Again, what was I trying to see? Literally, what was I trying to see? At this point, I might as well just use a different pen to really pinpoint. Like, I want to really, really fucking hold the point of what all the calculations I'm constantly trying to do, right? And why it's so difficult. So this is literally what I'm trying to do, right? I'm trying to see this, bring the box up, right? I'm trying to see this, that. Okay, that's already like a bit off. See, okay, I fucked up the center line. See, I didn't even do it properly. It should be around here. This is where it is, right? So there you go, because it has to be curved properly. So I'm trying to see this, right? And you're gonna see, obviously, like, I keep making mistakes, but I'm trying to see this, basically. That's what I'm trying to see. That's the first step. Then we're trying to see the sphere that I've been drawing, right? And I don't care about drawing over these. Like, I really don't give a shit about any of this, right? In terms of like an actual drawing perspective, like, it doesn't mean anything to me. Okay, I'm trying to see that. So I'm trying. This is what I mean when I say this is what I'm trying to see. By fucking stuttering aside, I'm trying to see. Like, so box, sphere, right? Then calculating center lines of each box. Like, and by the way, this is what I'm trying to see. Say I fucked up that center line, Jesus Christ. This, and then calculating ellipse of each box. Right? Again, so this is literally what I'm trying to see in my mind on the page consistently as a constant calculation and a referral point at all times. Okay? This is what I'm trying to see. Okay? And you can see now that, like, I'm getting a lot better at making it relatively accurate because look, I'm actually drawing it relatively accurately around it, right? But this is literally what I'm trying to see. Okay? So yeah, center lines, ellipse, and then project this ellipse outward such that it's like this, right? That's wrong. I made that way too wide. And then this ellipse outward such like it's like this, right? And it's projecting from here. That's the fuckery I'm trying to see, by the way. Like, that's literally what I'm trying to see, right? So I'm maybe like 10% there, maybe. But yeah, let me rest my brain. I encourage you to do so as well. And hopefully this puts into perspective, like, holy fuck. Not only is he trying to calculate this, he's actually getting there slowly but surely, right? And don't call me Shirley, but fucking, I say that joke all the time. I need a new one, but it's so prevalent in my mind. Rent-free airplanes, right? That was a movie, Airplanes. But yeah, that's what I'm trying to see. So, like, I think it's clearly possible. It's just you have to tax the fuck out of your working memory, and that's what everything you're doing right now. If you're just struggling with line, and I say just, like, not even, I don't even mean just, but yeah, like, sure, just struggling with line, but I know just lines in of itself, I understand how difficult it is because I still struggle with lines constantly, right? But everything you're doing and everything you struggle with what you're doing, you have to understand that this is your working memory, you know, your parietal lobe, your prefrontal cortex, your fucking buttfuck, your butthole hair or whatever the fuck, right? Your fingers, whatever. The point is, everything you are focusing on is actively working your brain. Therefore, focus on only a few things at a time, right? But push yourself within those few things, right? If you're focusing on your fucking line work and shit, don't just be like, I'm just gonna try to focus on smooth lines. Like, okay, I'm gonna make sure the way I'm gripping it and like my pen pressure sensitivity and proprioception, which is awareness of yourself in space, right? I'm like actively think about all those things while I make these lines, and let me try to visualize that as large as I can, as large as I can. Let me try to really cognitively think about where the line starts and where the line ends, and try to think about that as much as often and visualize it as much as often while just doing that one line, and then another line, then another line. And that's just lines, by the way. But this is what I'm trying to say is like, whatever. Oh, fucking my spit. God damn it, bro. I'm salivating all over this page. Disgusting. But yeah, you're on the right path. At least I have to tell myself that, or else it's all gone to shit. But yeah, we're all on the right path, guys. Keep fucking trying. Yeah, and I understand that right now everything I'm doing kind of looks like fucking useless, right? Because look at all the cognitive. This is everything that's going on in my mind at all times. I want to say, like, this is literally what I'm trying to calculate to the best of my ability. Am I actually doing this at all times? No, right? I'm trying, but am I actually seeing all of this at all times? Absolutely fucking not. Maybe like, maybe 30% of it, right? The center lines, like the front planes and the center lines more so, but again, like when I try to think about the front planes and the center lines, the side planes completely, like the other two visible planes, completely get lost in translation. So the skill right now is to be able to still see this while seeing this and having the sphere inside of it, which is everything. So that's the skill, to fucking see everything, right? But this helps too, funny enough, like just being able to like break down what I'm trying to see. But this is the standard I'm holding myself to. This is what you need to realize, and this is why I think everyone is capable of excellence, right? Because if you strive for excellence, you literally attempt your effort to be even more effortful to meet that excellence, right? Not that you do meet it, but you attempt to meet it, right? That's the big thing. That's the big distinction I've learned, and I want to keep reiterating to you is the fact that it's not about. It's okay. How do I say this? It's not about your output, which is the result, being excellent. It's about your input, which is what you're thinking, what you're actively thinking on, what you're actively focusing on while you're doing it, is the attempt, your input to match, your attempt to try and match that excellence with the acknowledgement that you will most likely fail because you are not skilled enough yet. Why do I talk like this when I need to explain things? I don't fucking know, but it seems to get me in the mode. Like, it seems to get, I feel as if it gets the point across better for me. At least if I speak like this, then you will listen to me. Versus when I'm speaking like this and I talk so fast, you're like, what the fuck is this guy saying? He needs to slow down. Just chill, man. Just do some fucking drugs, man. Just do some drugs. Well, I'll have you know, I had a medium coffee today, so that should explain everything. But unfortunately, or fortunately, I have this energy with or without any stimulation. This is just who I am, right? And then somebody will be like, look, he's naturally high energy, therefore he's meant for like this autism when it comes to drawing. It's like, no, shut the fuck up, okay? I'm not meant for autism. I'm meant for greatness. Watch me become great. Channel description. always gotta bring it back. But right now I'm struggling really hard because you have to remember, today I talked a lot, which meant, again, my parietal lobe was apparently being affected, right? And that means my prefrontal cortex was fighting for attention. Like, all those things, all these things I say isn't what I actually, like, I'm not a fucking genius, right? But this is just things I've learned. I'm like, okay, these are the parts of the brain that get worked when I'm doing these things. And explaining it actually, apparently, and objectively, it improves my ability to do, because that is also, like, when you explain what you're doing, it improves the connections of what you're trying to do, right? But it also makes it more difficult at the end of the day, because I'm still trying to do while explaining, you know? And that's why I'm telling you it's all skills. Right, it's all skills, and it all compounds. Right now, I'm in the I'm in the valley of disappointment. Like, and the thing is, I honestly believe I'll always be in the valley of disappointment because my standards will always keep getting improved. Like, always keep getting improved, right? So that's the other thing, is the fact that, like, it really doesn't matter whether I'm in the valley of disappointment or whether I'm not, because I'll always be in the valley of disappointment. You know, there will always be, like, I'll always be pushing the fuck out of my working memory. Always, without any regard for what I'm actually doing, but just trying to do. Like, I will always do that. And I encourage you all, again, the community I'm trying to build is a group of strivers, right? Striving and accepting the journey. You know, accepting that striving is the journey, right? Because you will get outcomes. But once you start thinking about outcomes is when you start losing the striving. And why did I just stop talking? Because I had to fucking think, and it was extremely difficult. So again, let me take a step back, because it's about reconstruction. I just want to say, like, it's apart from just holding the visualization, it's also about reconstructing it fast, right? Again, that's what our brain excels at, is reconstruction. That's where the synapses fire and, like, okay, we're building a schema. Again, my brain is building a schema. It's building this. What is this? A fucking 3D simulation. Okay, it's trying to build this and calculate this constantly in my mind and then project it onto the page, which is the skill of projecting a visualization. And I don't even know if I don't think anybody's really born with that skill to such an innate ability or to an extent. Genuinely, you all know how I feel about fucking talent. But right now, I am trying so hard to project this vague calculation in my mind onto the fucking page, consistently, over and over, just always trying to reconstruct it, right? And that is also the path of excellence, is just trying, right? And again, while I drew this line, I completely, absolutely lost the perspective. And while I'm reinforcing this line, I completely, absolutely lost the perspective. What does that tell you? That I'm shit. That I'm so, just don't draw ever again. Right? And again, I'm trying to see the box while I do this. Really trying to see the box while I do this. right? But, and again, while I draw this line, I'm trying to see the center line, the front plane, as well as, as well as, let's see, how do I want to do this? As well as the fucking back plane, bruh. Like, as well as the bottom plane. Like, I'm trying to see so much right now. Am I doing it? Most fucking definitely not. Like, genuinely, most definitely not. I'm not seeing shit. But that's, again, the beauty is the fact that while I'm talking, I'm trying to think about this. I want to make that very clear. Like, while I'm talking, I'm trying to think about that. Okay? And I'm constantly trying to refer to that. If that makes you go like, oh, wow, like, that's really intense. Good. Because art is very intense. And that's why we're all capable of it. Right? If it was a fuck around skill, right, where you didn't have to try at all, then everybody would be an incredible artist. Everybody, of course they would, right? Because you don't have to try at all. But it's because right now my brain is genuinely experiencing the most cognitive friction it has all day, right? It's because of that it is worth doing. And I cannot see anything right now, so I need to take a step back. I've already taken as many fucking steps back as possible, but I need to take a step back again and be like, okay, where am I seeing this? What is actually happening? Okay, now I see it a little bit better. I've understood that this is my bottom plane. This is where my bottom plane, I think exists, right? Because I had to make this. I tried to make this as subtle as I could, right? And that means my front plane's actually up here. That means this is my sphere, which I have created, right? Roughly, this is my sphere. Right, and while I even ghost the sphere, I have to think about this, which I can't, which I'm struggling with immensely, by the way, right? I'm absolutely struggling with immensely because the goal is to see this every single time I put down a line and to reconstruct it, not just see it, by the way, reconstruct it and try to hold it for at least like a fucking millisecond, right? Because that's the best I can do right now is a fucking millisecond, basically, right? Especially right now with how much I've already taxed my brain. So I want, again, like I try to be as open as possible when it comes to all this. Like I'm trying to be as very clear as possible more than anything. Is like, this is what I mean when I say drawing is thinking. This is what I mean when I say you're capable of this. Because it's just extensive effort. And any dipshit, again, right? We're trying to build a community. Any dipshit, which we'll still believe in, says some dumb bullshit like, oh, it's not a talent. No, fucking Biggie did this wrong. Biggie did that wrong. Be like, cool. You are right. He did this wrong. You are right. This is not how you learn. And we believe in you. And you can do it too. Right? Simple as that. Just fucking believe in them. Because what else can we do? What else can we do but believe in the people who don't believe in us? Hashtag Gurren Lagann. I believe in the you that doesn't believe in me. Right? I fucking love Gurren Lagann, bro. It's also like a huge amount of nostalgia for me as well because, what's it called? Hold up, shut the fuck up. It is a lot of nostalgia because you need to shut the fuck up and go back to thinking. Stop trying to explain yourself, Jesus Christ. But let's see, because this is really difficult. You see, I started from the bottom, right? So, and now we're here. Oh God, no, please, A minor. But let's see, actually. So no, we started the sphere from the bottom, and now it's hard for me. My brain is struggling to just complete the sphere. You see, that's another skill to complete the sphere. If you imply the form from the bottom of the sphere, like depending on the position in which you imply the form, and then you try to visualize outward, like you try to calculate that visualization outward, that is a skill. And clearly now I'm being very succinctly reminded by my brain's inability to do this, that hey, you have trouble projecting the sphere outward when you start it from the bottom. And now you're here and you're lonesome. You can't do it, you're a fucking idiot, right? Something like that. And again, it's like trying to still figure out what my perspective is, because I made this line wrong, right? So difficult. 58 minutes in, and this is all I've been able to do. This episode, people who see the thumbnail for this are not going to click on it because they're like, what the fuck is this? What is this fuckery? I don't understand. What did he do here? Right? But for those of you who do click and are possibly here at the moment, hopefully this, I mean, like, again, hopefully it really puts into perspective, like, holy shit, this is how much thought is involved. And again, I'm not special. Okay, I want to be very clear, like I'm really struggling to see this bottom ellipse, because that's because I'm really struggling to see this, right? Okay, that's in the wrong perspective, but I'm really struggling to see this, right? So I need to, again, make sure that it's projected correctly, right? The box itself. And now I need to try and see it, which is, And again, where's the center line? Because I have to think about that. I want to think about where the center line is as well. Center line's like right around here. Well, if I tried to make this centered, right, then I'll see, like, that means this curve is off. Okay, so that means, like, it's like this, right? And actually, should have made that a little less subtle, but it's okay. That means, okay, so that means this is my center, right? And that means this is okay. It's not amazing, but that's my center. And that means I can, again, while I do this, I have to literally think about the fucking box. And this is not going to be a good sphere. As you can see, this is already not going to be a good sphere, but we still have to try and make sense of it all. And I can't, and I'm struggling. By the way, when I mean I can't currently, and I can't yet. Not that I'm incapable of doing this. It's very important. Don't forget, language creates us, all right? So it's very important that you very important, what the fuck, why'd I say it like that? It's very important that we understand that it's all yet. I can't do this yet. I'm incapable currently. My mind is struggling right now, right? And that's good, because your mind should be struggling right now. You're not capable of doing it right now, right? Very, very, very simple, no? But either way, I'm genuinely struggling bear, fam. How else are you supposed to say this? Yo, fam, this finna be some hard shit, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. Like, what the fuck else do you want me to say? Okay? You want me to eloquently be like, oh, yeah, it's quite preposterous, the cognitive load that is required upon your parietal lobe and the schema is the buttfuckery of your anal prolapses. Yeah, it's like, what the fuck you want me to say? What the fuck you want me to say, huh? I'm struggling, okay? I'm fucking struggling. Watch me make an argument that doesn't exist so that I don't feel like I'm insane talking to myself. You see, because again, like, I end up creating the same design, but now I have to be like, okay, well, you have to create a different design, dipshit, right? And I clearly did not calculate for this properly, because this looks like it's kind of projected outward, no? I don't know. I feel as if I fucked it up, but we can try something like this. What I'm trying to say is, like, this feels like it's not actually centered onto the sphere, because it feels like this is jutting out now because of how I did this, but I don't know. Like, I feel as if this line kind of fucked things up. And okay, I need to take a step back. I'm gonna rest my brain, because my brain, like, I can't calculate anything, and we have to try to figure it out. But I love this. I love that every single angle that I draw in is difficult. I fucking love this. And this is another thing, like, the only way you're gonna be in this for the long game is to literally train yourself to love difficult things, right? Look at me wiggle my fucking hands when I talk to you. Look at me. Now please rest your brain. Okay, and another thing, just to, I know, it can't speak, but just again to reinforce to you and let you know what is actually happening in my mind. Currently, I cannot see anything, and also this angle is incorrect. That's another thing we have to note. This angle is like should be right there. Yeah, see, that's already better. If that's the case, why don't we just do that? Why don't I just do this? Right? There you go. We can even make the fucking incorrectness correct, right? But yeah, like, my mind can't see anything anymore. Like, I can barely see the box, and I'm trying to see the calculations, but I really can't. And you can see the bottom of the sphere is already inaccurate, right? So just subpar all around. And that's okay. I mean, I say these things, but do I actually think it's subpar? Yes. But do I give a shit? No. Right? And this is genuinely, I think, probably one of the hardest, yeah, because I have to think about, see, now I'm trying to think about this center line, right? And like how, where the end of the sphere is. But this is genuinely one of the hardest angles and just things I've ever done. And it's only going to get harder. I'm only going to keep pushing myself in general, right? But, and again, I guess I'll just, that line was bad. But I guess I'll just do something like this. Right? Not that this makes any sense, but I just thought maybe wrapping it around would... There you go, and something like that. Okay, so that's a little bit better, right? We tried to fix it a little bit, but yeah, this is genuinely one of the hardest things I've ever done, for sure. Like, absolutely, certainly, for sure, because I don't think I've ever had to see all this fuckery that I'm seeing right now in my mind. And I've lost a lot of it, so again, I need to keep zooming out. Again, while we draw these smaller lines, we need to keep, or smaller details, we need to keep zooming out and try to understand how it actually works, right? Like how it actually makes or follows the contour. See, I can't even think. I can't even fucking explain myself. Not that I ever could explain myself, let's be honest, but we have to keep understanding where these lines and where these contours lie. And it all comes through extensive calculating. At least for me. At least for me. See, that's a horrible line as well. That's a really bad line. That's a really bad line too. That's a really bad line tree. But that's okay. And I guess I can do something like this to be like, look, it's still three-dimensional, even though I don't even know if any of this makes sense anymore. But while I'm drawing this, I'm trying to go back and see this front plane again, like that fuckery there, right? So I'm really trying to see that. And again, I've completely lost so much. But... And the perspective is actually pretty off. Like this is, you see how these two aren't, that it's supposed to be way more angled? You see how I didn't do that for this or this that much? This is like already slightly back, and now this is just like this. This one's front plane is literally just like that. Just way more neutral, right? So it's the struggle. It's just a constant struggle. And yeah, and then on top of that, I'm trying to design. Am I really designing? No, my design skills today have been not even quote unquote, they've just been I get it, because I did and then so that like ass. Whatever. I can burp my ABCs, fuck you. But yeah, like my design skills today have been asked. Why? Because it's competing with my spatial reasoning a fuck ton, right? Like it's really hard to think. It's really, really hard to think. Genuinely, it's really hard to think. But maybe if I do something like this, maybe. And again, my line quality is also suffering, but we just need to accept that, right? And the good thing is, anytime I notice that my line quality is suffering, I do try to have it. And again, like I'm zooming in right now, so I need to zoom out while I do this. Like I need to objectively zoom out so I can see the entire sphere, right? I need to zoom out, zoom out, zoom out. Okay, that was okay. It wasn't anything good, but it was all right, whatever. And then same thing here. Right, because that's like right around there. This doesn't really make any sense because I put like this angle in general, like whatever I did here was completely inaccurate, but I hope you can see that it's an immense struggle. It's an immense struggle. Like I could not see today. I literally couldn't do anything today. Like I genuinely couldn't do anything. I don't think I even, like if you were to look at my output, you'd be like, what he drew was literally dog shit. If you were to look at my output, but we don't look at outputs, we look at inputs, and my inputs were extreme friction, struggle, spatial reasoning, calculations, constantly try to see things. But look at this, fucking, like 5 steps forward, right? Or like 1 step forward, right? Not even 5 steps, 1 step forward, this, right? New angle, 10 steps back. New angle, 10 steps back. Look at that, right? So that's how it is. It's all different skills. Look at my hands. And that's my new bit now, right? Where I just point out my hands and then I make gargling noises, right? But either way, this was extremely difficult. But the thing is, we learn, right? We learn and we constantly keep trying. But again, like I was trying to see a lot and I fucked up because I could not see the bottom plane. Like again, if I were to say like what was I really trying to see? Again, I was trying to see something like this, right? Something like that. Well, we should have made this a bit larger, but either way, like this is what I was trying to see. Right, and again, let's see, it's something like that because we have to account for the helmet that's wrapping around it, but this is what I was trying to see, right? And then again, all this fuckery, this center line. Let's see if I even got this in the center, actually. Let's see if I calculated it decently correctly. And look, I kind of did, but you can see it's slightly off because when you project it back a little bit, right? Or you don't even project it back because it's right against it. Look, this is actually where the center line is. So this, like I said, should have been a little bit more to the left, right? Like so. But there you go. And again, like, here is my ellipse. Fuck, that was a fuck up. There you go, there's my ellipse. So when I project that outward, here is what it's supposed to be, right? Something like this is what I'm trying to see. That was actually relatively accurate. Look at that. Like, I actually got the curve pretty decently, but very difficult, genuinely very difficult. What the fuck was this? Like, look at this. This is angle. This is the angle that I was trying to project it off of, right? What did I even end up making? This angle completely off. It should have been like this. Clearly now we see that, right? This one kind of pretty decently off. Should have been like that, right? And then that would have resulted in something that looked a bit more legit, you know? Super difficult, very, very, very difficult. And the design, like, again, you have to understand, and I assume you do understand, I guess I'm just trying to say this again to reiterate, is that you do need to understand that these are all resources within your working memory that are competing with each other, right? Spatial reasoning resources, right? Calculations, whatever, within your prefrontal cortex is competing with whatever part of your brain is for ideation, design, ratios, between different shapes, right? Types of shapes, right? Like manipulations on top of the shapes. Like, that's also spatial reasoning, but now it's ideation and it's decision making on top of spatial reasoning, on top of the fucking forms that you're trying to spatial reason, right? That's all competing. So again, like, I'm genuinely trying to the best of my ability, but not actually doing it, but I'm actively trying to consistently have 30 to 40 things compete with my working memory at all times. And for the average brain, like myself, only 3 to 5 things are really within your working memory at all times, which is why the brain is being fried consistently, and then it's being forced to consolidate and create a consistent schema for the main thing, which is the spatial reasoning, such that when this gets easier, right, over the next 50, 60, 80, 100, 200 hours, the designing becomes a lot more consistent, and suddenly I've just opened up 80% of resources to now design over this shape, right? And to be honest, and to be very clear, this schema for this perspective is a lot less defined than clearly this schema for this top perspective, right? And a couple other, like, and then I have another perspective that I did like the other way, right? And that was more defined, but this one is not that defined, right? So every perspective is a new schema and a new skill, and rotating that, these are all skills, right? So the other thing is also, like, the other skill on top of that I'm building is to be able to rotate a perfect cube in perspective. And more than anything, I'm still struggling to visualize and to calculate and project a perfect cube, let alone a sphere, let alone the center lines that are on the plane, as well as the ellipses that are on the plane, and the contour center line, which is within the sphere itself, vertical and horizontal. So yeah, today we learned a lot, which is the same shit I say every time, which is it's a lot of thinking, and that's why we're all fucking capable of it. Okay, I hope you keep seeing the struggle, all right? I already said, like, the Vigi community, I was gonna bitch about, like, I don't want anybody, saying it's talent, but we've already established, we've done a lot today. I opened up, I said I wasn't perfect, and now that makes you relate to me, and you're like, fuck, I trust this guy, what he sells me, of course, I'm buying it 10 times over, telling my family, right? But, it's good, it's good. We're playing the infinite game of parasocial relationships. But, yeah, like, I have consistently, I'm now, like, officially verbalizing things I've been thinking about, which is, I want to build a positive community. Part of that is acknowledging that I will be criticized and I'm not perfect, and actually no, I'm God, but I will be criticized for being God, such as His holiness as always is. What a sentence, right? This always is. But yeah, like, either way, we established quite a few. I opened up, I cried, I fucking shat myself while I was crying. I don't know if you can smell it, but I can taste it, that's for sure. But what else did I do? I leaked tears externally and internally. I said I wanted a positive community, right? And I really hope anybody, because I'm not gonna keep repeating it. I'm just gonna let this be the video where I basically say it, like, in terms of, like, explicitly saying, here, this is what I would like for my community, which is whoever anybody is, right? Positive, neutral, or negative. I just want to keep everyone reinforcing the belief to themselves and the people they project out onto is anybody can do anything. We can all be excellent, and everybody can put effort towards things that they want to strive towards, right? And if people are like, oh, this is too hard, or, like, let's just say people are like, this fundamentals, over obsession, whatever, the answer is cool. I accept your criticism, right? I'm gonna keep doing what I do, right? And you're capable of this too. It's basically a giant mindfuck. That's what we're aiming for, right? It's under the pretense of positivity, but of course, at the end of the day, it's like, yeah, the good for you, bro. You keep doing your thing. We love the haters, right? And then you go back to shitting on them internally, right? In my diary. But no, at the end of the day, I want to continually reinforce the mindset amongst this community, and this is just me explicitly stating that everyone is capable of everything. It's purely directionally correct effort, which is the fundamentals, and everything that's stacked on top of the fundamentals, which is more fundamentals, right? By the way, for expert level draftsmanship, which is essentially god tier representational art. That is my definition, right? Fucking Frank Frazetta, Kim Jong-il, Peter Han, Karl Kopinski, Sori Kim, fucking Jake Wang Park, who else? Leyendecker, Rockwell, Norman Rockwell, J.C. Leyendecker. There's a billion. There's literally hundreds and thousands, hundreds of thousands of really fucking amazing draftsmen, right? Like, again, just honestly, don't follow me on Instagram. Click on my Instagram, look at who I follow, because that's the people I'm talking about. I'm not worth following, so don't fucking follow me. Like, I don't post anything. Like, my art is fucking mid. We all know this. Like, it doesn't matter. Do not follow me, right? Follow the people that I follow. Like, not all of them, but go through them and be like, here's what he means. Here, okay, now here's like, I like this person, I like this person, I like this person, right? But the point is, like, if we're talking about expert draftsmen, who I believe to be incredible draftsmen, right? But yeah, there are good, right things to follow on. So that's the mindset for the community. There are right things to work on. Everybody can work on those things. We can chase the difficulty. We can enjoy it by focusing on the effort, the errors, and what's it called? And deriving enjoyment from them. Deriving enjoyment from them. I speak way too fast. And sheer volume at the end of the day, right? The point of the game is to keep playing, okay? So again, I know there's a lot of things I talk about, but it's the same 5 things, like the same fucking like 3 to 5 to 6 whatever things that I keep saying, which is purely just growth mindset, long-term thinking, and just pure effort, right? Directionally correct effort, and keep trying to figure it out, because you will fucking figure it out. And I am, obviously, I didn't figure this out fucking 50 hours ago, but now look at this. I'm actually in the process of understanding and maintaining a consistent proportion of this. Now it's just about solidifying this, making this a fucking fused within my mind and like a consistent schema that I can just recreate like that instantaneously and then hold it for at least hopefully 10 seconds over the next 5, 10, 15 years, whatever, right? But I couldn't do this 50 hours ago. I could barely even see or understand this, right? And it wasn't consistent, but now it's consistent. You see, I'm directionally correct, making my spheres more consistent, wrapping around more consistently. But it takes, you have to measure in hundreds, right? Hundreds of hours, hundreds of repetitions, right? Fucking your entire lifetime. That's what it is, right? And that's okay. Accept that you're never gonna know everything. Accept that you'll never be great at everything. Just zone the fuck in on what you can do right now and just strive for greatness within that little zone, and then just keep fucking going, because you'll hit it faster than you realize. Again, like, I've been hitting this faster than I realized, but it feels slower than I expect, which is normal. Like, it feels so slow, but that doesn't matter, because that's why we just keep focusing on the effort, right? Time is dilated when you just focus on the effort anyways. So that's why I didn't realize it's been an hour and 17 minutes, holy shit. So yeah, with that being said, rest your brain after the session. Maybe I have to fucking start waving my finger at you and telling you to rest your brain after every session. 10 minutes minimum. Set a fucking timer on your phone. Don't look at anything. Do not have any dopamine induced activities. Just lie down on your fucking bed, go for a walk, whatever, but just rest. Okay? Let your brain consolidate this into long-term memory. And with that being said, I hope you put a lot of effort in. And as always, fuck you for watching. Keep drawing. Oh, so sweet. And please, give me money.